You want to be the golden goose, not the family fool. That's why we buy precious metals, gold, silver, platinum, palladium, the precious metal mining stocks, because we want to be the golden goose for our families. That's what we're trying to do, protect our families, provide them with safety and security. Isn't that why you hold the metals? When we really boil it down, we want to feel safe, we want to provide for our families, but will we wind up looking like the family fool or the golden goose? Let's just take a look at a couple things going on in the world right now. Let's go on just a little journey. Let's look at some of the big stories that will impact the price of gold, will impact the price of silver. Let's do that right now. Ever get the feeling that bad things are about to happen? I do, but don't worry. You're always a golden goose in my book. I appreciate you joining me wherever in the world you are. It's me and you right now. I honor and value the fact that you're giving me a little bit of your time. If you get any value out of this, any entertainment, please consider subscribing. Turn on the little ring-a-ling-ding-a-ling bell. That way you won't miss one single video. Now let's get back to the meat. So when we think about gold and silver, we got to look at the big picture and the little picture. We're going to start talking about a few little picture details, but then we're going to talk about the big picture and why the future looks so solid for us golden gooses. Let's just start with FedEx. FedEx recently announced they are grounding planes because freight shipments are down so much. Way down, right? They are actually grounding some of their fleet of airplanes. And then we get news from Maersk. It's like the biggest shipping company in the world. They are canceling sailings, canceling those big mega, those giant ships, massive ships with all those thousands of containers on them. They are canceling shipments because the world economy, doesn't it seem like it to you? Like maybe the world economy is slowing? And how do you feel about the holidays? Have you heard the good news about the holiday season coming up? I bet you just love the holidays. Ho, 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 Merry Christmas. Well, 17% of Americans said they were going to significantly scale back, decrease the amount of money that they spend on the holidays this year. And I wonder why. Maybe it's because everything costs so darn much. Have you been to a Walmart? Have you been to a Target? Have you been to a Best Buy? Have you tried to put gas in your car? Everything is so much more expensive. People don't have the money. But here's the interesting part. I'd be curious what you think about this. 17%? That's darn near 1 in 5 people. That means for every 5 people you bump into today, they are needing to significantly scale back. And we know the other people, well, we're all paying these higher prices. We're going to be scaling back also. I don't know. What do you think? It feels like to me that the world economy, and I know from being here in the United States of America, the U.S. economy is contracting. And do you think gold and silver will fly when all this crappy news filters through the system? We're just at the beginning of it. The Fed's going to have to loosen up. The price of gold and silver should take off significantly at that point. But we also got news that 25%, these people in London and the United Kingdom, 25% of Londoners have less than £1,500 saved. That is atrocious. That means 1 in 4 people in London probably barely have enough money to deal with these massive price increases they are facing in the coming months. And then think about this. Are you a retiree? 47 million Americans are retired. They are all on a fixed income. And sure, Social Security is going up by 10%, but we know prices are up much, much higher. There's a huge swath of the U.S. economy that's on a fixed income and will be struggling just to make ends meet. And what do you think we see when we look at the big picture things going on in the world, the split between the East and the West? And don't forget, the East loves gold and silver. The Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia announced that President Xi from China will be visiting before the end of the year. China and Saudi Arabia are becoming very, very close friends. China and Russia are becoming very, very close friends. These are all Eastern countries. They all love precious metals, so we aren't going to argue with that. But when it comes to the split between the West and the East, it only continues to grow. We do know, right, that these BRICS countries, Saudi Arabia included, and a couple other, are talking about starting their own reserve currency based on real assets, gold and silver. We also know, may I remind you, this is important, that Vladimir Putin has announced he wants to start a new central trading hub for precious metals because he thinks the price in the West, at the COMEX, at the LBMA, is completely manipulated. Things look good for the future of gold and silver. Now let's just touch on the United States of America. Big, big picture stuff, right? The debt that we have, the deficits that we're running. How do you think that's going to affect the US dollar? We have so many forces as we look out 5 years, as we look out 1 year, as we look out 10 years, that indicate that the dollar is going down in value. That will translate into higher silver and gold prices. That will also translate into you being the golden goose and not the family fool. We don't want to be the family fool, but we got to remember too, right? Gold and silver for almost 5,000 years have maintained their value. Any of your great grandpas who would have bought gold and silver and handed it down over the generations wouldn't be regarded as the family fool today. No, he'd be regarded as the family guru, and so likely will you and I. One thing for sure, I'll be here with you through it all. I appreciate you joining me in Ron's basement, even when I'm not in the basement. But hey, I'll see you next time. You be well.